Good evening, class. And today, what we are going to actually talk of is quantity theory of money, inflation, real money balance, and interest rates, right? So, we are actually going to talk about Fisher's effect. Okay, so let's start. Right, we start with quantity theory of money. So, where the main concern in this theory is the effect of money on economy, right? Effect on price and income. It talks about neutrality of money. Now, Fisher's equation, as we know, is mv equal to pt, where m is the volume of total volume of money, v is the velocity of money, that is how many times the money is transferred from one hand to another in a given time period, right? And t is the number of transactions. P is price of each transaction. So MV equal to PT, to find out the value of P, what happens is PT, you just bring M down. So PT by M, right? So let's take an example. If, for instance, the total volume of money is $200, right? And 200 here, that's V, total volume. Okay, so, and the transaction volume is 1000 kg. So that's T. Price is zero point 0.6 dollars per kg. That's P, right? So you have to find out M, which is M we know is PV by PT by V. You just bring it down. So P, this is P, this is T, and this is V, right? So if you just calculate, the answer is 3, which means what? For in every year, for $1 changes 3 hands through transactions. So thrice it changes hands. That's what it means. So let's go to the next part, that is quantity theory of money, the Cambridge version, right? In Fisher's equation, so it's difficult to measure the number of transactions. So T is replaced by Y. Okay, in the same equation where we had MV equal to PT, so where instead of what we have is here, instead of T, we are writing Y, right? So Y is the output produced in a time period. So more output, what happens? More number of transactions. So the new equation will be quantity theory of money will be MV equal to PY, and V means V is equal to what? You just bring this M down. So it's V is equal to PY by M. Okay, which is also called the income velocity of money. Income velocity of money means how many times income is transferred in a given period. The same equation, right? We can also write it if we bring P to the left hand side and V to the right hand side. So it becomes M by P and Y by V, right? So this left hand side is the real money balance. We know that, which is the purchasing power of the stock of money, right? And the right hand side, that is YV here. So what happens is it's Y by V. So Y into 1 by V. So 1 by V, instead of 1 by V, if we write K, so it becomes KY, okay? So KY, which means what? It's how many people wish to hold for every unit of money. How much money people wish to hold for every unit of income, right? For every unit, for each unit of income that it's been earned, how much money would an individual people would want to hold? That's what it is. KY when we say. So money demand function, this is when we talk of the real purchasing power, that's the demand for money. Money demand function, or the demand for real balance, right? It's inversely related to the velocity of money. See, real demand for money is equal to V, it goes down. So it's 1 by V, right? It's inversely related to velocity of money. So what happens? Higher the velocity of money, right? So higher would be the speed of transactions. And so what will happen? Lower would be the need to hold cash in hand. Okay. Right. So we go to the next part, which is money demand, where money demand and money supply and equilibrium. So we know in equilibrium condition, what happens is money demand equal to money supply. Money demand, as we said, was M by P, where M, so we write it as M dash, right? M by P demand. So this is money demand. Money demand, if we have seen here, money demand is what? It's equal to KY, right? So, which is a demand for real balance, which is directly related to output. It's directly related. Why? Because higher is the output means more demand for real balance. The real the supply of money is M by P, right? So the market money market equilibrium will be money supply equal to money demand. Money supply is equal to M by P, and money demand, as we know, is KY. So M by P is equal to KY, right? And if you put take this P to the right hand side, what happens is M is equal to KPY. K we know is 1 by V, right? So, and this M equal to KPY is known as the Cambridge version of quantity theory of money, and K is constant. So we go to the next thing, that is money and inflation. Now Y, that is output, it is determined, we know that it's determined by the factors of production and technology. And we also know that velocity of money is constant. So K we know is 1 by V, so K is also constant, right? So what do we know? M is equal to KPY. So if we differentiate, so what happens? It's delta M by M is equal to delta K by K plus delta P by P plus delta Y by Y. It comes from this equation, M is equal to KPY. We start differentiating, right? And here, what does this mean? That delta M by M is rate of change of money supply. Delta K by K, which is it's the rate of change in K, right? And this is, we talk of P, which is rate of change in price level, and Y is rate of change in Y. So what is it? It's a sum. You're summing up, sum of rate of change in K, rate of change in Y, rate of change of in price level. Y is the output level. Now we know that Y and K are constant, right? So what happens? Like constant means delta K by K and delta Y by Y, that is equal to 0. So it's 0. So what do we have? We are left with delta M by M is equal to delta P by P. So which means what? Rate of increase in money supply is equal to rate of increase in price, which means it's rate of inflation that we are talking. So which also proves the neutrality of money. What is the neutrality of money? We know that any change in money supply would cause a change in the price level, right? At the same rate, leaving the real sectors unchanged, right? So inflation, we know, is a monetary phenomenon. What is next? We go to seigniorage. What is it? A seigniorage is the revenue which is earned by central bank by printing new money. Now, central bank enjoys exclusive right over printing new money. It's the central bank who actually prints the money. And so here, increase in money supply. What happens? When we have increase in money supply, it leads to inflation. Inflation means what? There's a decline in the purchasing power of money in the hands of people, right? So there's a burden on people. So what happens when more money is printed, right? Excess supply in the market means the value of money declines in the value of old money, right? So when the printing of money is done by central bank, so and it is totally the central bank has the power of printing the money. So through this usage of the power of printing money, central bank actually, what does it do? It increases its revenue. Revenue goes up because you can lend, but at the cost of real balance in the hands of people, in people's hand. So that goes down, people's purchasing power goes down, right? And in case of hyperinflation, the main source of revenue for government is seigniorage. That's the main source of revenue, right? Okay, we go to the next part, that is interest rate. Now, interest rate equation is I equal to R plus pi, where I is the nominal interest rate, R is the real interest rate, and pi is the rate of inflation. So rate of inflation that we are talking of, it indicates the fall in purchasing power of money. More inflation, so less is the purchasing power of money. And if you want to find out the real, from this equation, the real interest rate is what? So you just take pi to the side. So it becomes I minus pi. So R is equal to I minus pi. So real interest rate, it indicates the interest gain on money in terms of purchasing power. Okay, so what is the interest gain on money? What are you getting in terms of purchasing power? People's purchasing power. So we go to the next part, which is Fisher's effect. So we just got the equation that I equal to R pi, R plus pi, which is the Fisher's equation. It's also called the interest identity. So higher the rate of inflation, what would happen? Greater would be the difference between real and nominal rate of interest. So the difference is more, right? So when you have higher growth rate in money supply, it will lead to higher inflation rate, we know that. And higher inflation rate means the difference between nominal and real interest rate goes up, right? So more money supply, higher is the inflation rate, and so the difference between nominal and real interest rate, that increases, right? And we know that there is a one-to-one correspondence between the rate of growth of money supply and the rate of growth of nominal interest rate, which is called the Fisher effect, right? So that's all that we have from here, right? And if there's any question, please let me know. We will discuss that in the next class.